Okay, the first series of the first round. Sorry, I just took a nap. But the first series of the first round of the NBA playoffs. That finished. The Suns got swept by the Timberwolves. And I'm gonna go by each game. The Wolves, especially Anthony Edwards, went off for game one. Um, I think they were up by as many as 29 in game one. Anthony Edwards had like 30 plus points and took a 1-0 lead. Next game, it was close, kind of, until like the third quarter, where the Timberwolves have. The third quarter seems to have been the Timberwolves' quarter in this series, because they blew out the Suns again in game two. Um, Same thing happened in game three. Blew them out in the third quarter. Ended up winning by 20 plus points. After game three, they took a resounding 3-0 lead. No team has ever come back down 3-0 in a series. In game two, Anthony Edwards didn't really have to do anything. He only scored like 10 plus points, but Jaden McDaniels had a big game. I think he had like 20 plus points. Game three, Anthony Edwards had 30 plus points again. And in game four, he struggled early, but towards the end of the game, he really picked it up. He closed out the Timber, or not, what am I saying, the Timberwolves? He closed out for the Timberwolves against the Suns, especially in the fourth quarter. So far in every game in this series, what am I saying so far? The series is over, but in every game this series, the Wolves just dominated, with the exception of game four, where the Timberwolves just took over down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Specifically, Anthony Edwards, who averaged like 30 points a game. With the exception of game two, he only had like 10 plus points game two, but he didn't really have to do that much that game because it was a close game until it wasn't in game two. Game three, Anthony Edwards showed out. He had like 35 points. Kevin Durant had 31, but it didn't matter. Bradley Beal had less than 20, and so did Devin Booker. I think Grayson Allen ended up leaving the game with an injury. And in game one, the Wolves led by as many as like 29. Game two, it was a close game until the third quarter. Mike Conley really kept him in the game. Wolves really put the clamps down on the Suns because in game two, Devin Booker had 20, but Kevin Durant had 18, and Bradley Beal had 14. Anthony Edwards only had 15, but Jaden McDaniels had a big game. He had 25 points as the Wolves took a 2-0 lead going into Phoenix. Game three, Anthony Edwards had a monster game. He had like 36 points. For Phoenix, the three starters, the big three of Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker all scored 20 plus points, but it didn't matter because the Wolves, especially in the third quarter, blew the game open and took a resounding 3-0 lead in this. And game four was relatively a close game until like the final minutes of the fourth quarter. This was Kevin Durant and Devin Booker's best game of the series, or best games of the series. Booker had 49 and Durant had 33, but Bradley Beal had a horrible, only scoring 9 points. For the Wolves, Anthony Edwards scored 40 after struggling relatively early in the game. He went nuclear towards the end of the game and closed out the Suns to ensure that the Wolves would make it to the next round for the first time in 20 years. as the Timberwolves swept the Suns. Really, the story of this game or this series actually was one, Anthony Edwards was an absolute nightmare for the Suns, and two, three of the four games, the Timberwolves really blew the game open in the third quarter. But it should be interesting who to see who they face next round. I think it's gonna be the Nuggets because I think they're gonna close the series out today against the Lakers, but we'll see. Lakers won last game, so we'll see if there's still some fight in them, and if they're able to force a game 6. But if it is the Nuggets, I'm curious to see how the next round plays for the Timberwolves because if anybody can give the Nuggets fits, it's the Wolves because the Wolves defense, from what I saw the 4 games, has been absolutely suffocating. But we'll see, you know. The Timberwolves get a nice break right now because they're the first team to advance to the next round. But we'll see what happens the next round. We'll see what happens the rest of this round, and it should be very interesting.